So guys, welcome to today's podcast. Today I am joined by the wonderful Marco. Marco has been with Fighting Fit for almost 10 years now, and in that time he's lost 60 kilos, done a white collar boxing, also known as the Italian Stallion. Marco, for anybody who doesn't know you, please introduce yourself to the podcast.
Yeah, I'm with Steven since the very beginning. We used to work first at the boxing club, the Club NIFA, and then I started working out here as well when he opened this venue. Never thought for a single moment to leave Fighting Fit, always kept working out with the guys, with the whole family, so I enjoyed it. I wouldn't feel comfortable in training somewhere else, even though I do my own workouts in another gym, just some strength and conditioning, but about the rest, I always feel the need to keep coming here and joining you guys.
Because you are an absolute workhorse. You do a lot of training. You play football multiple times a week, or Fighting Fit maybe 4 or 5 times a week. You go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
So you're always staying very active. But before we get into, let's say, the details about the training program, all the things you've done over the last couple of years, or what you do to maintain your fitness levels, like, who is Marco? Where does he come from? What does he do for work? What are his hobbies?
Sure. So I moved to Ireland around 12 years ago, waiting for a job call that unfortunately never arrived. So I got a little bit depressed. I was already a bit overweight at that time, but doing a job I didn't enjoy, I didn't like, I didn't study it for. I felt a little bit depressed, so I started eating more, and my wealth and health situation got very downwards. So at some stage, I just decided I need to take action to do something for because I'm still young, I can still do something for it. And I started a diet because I couldn't even playing a football game. I mean, I could, but I would be sore for 3-4 days, my knees, my back, always suffering from back pain. So I started a diet for the first 6 months because I just needed to drop weight. I wasn't able to exercise to do anything. And then because I remember my brother back then started boxing in Italy, and in 8 months' time, he got so shredded, very, very fit. So I said, okay, maybe boxing training would be the ideal for me. Because I then started working at PayPal, which gave me the possibility, especially from to go through the diet to my weight loss journey. I had a nice gym, but I knew from the beginning that if I had to go by myself, I would have lasted a couple of days. I just needed someone to check on me, to give me that push, at least for the beginning. So I was with Simone, a former colleague of mine. We were looking for some boxing training, so we ended up at the club NIFA. We met you, you introduced yourself as a personal trainer, so we decided to give you a try, start training with you. It was 4 times a week back then, yeah? And even though, to be honest, we just thought, okay, because we look at you, you were very young, okay, let's try a couple of weeks and see how it goes. So 10 years after, I'm still here.
Still going. And then, so during that time when you first started your journey, like, what was your heaviest weight on the scales, let's say?
When I started the weight loss journey, I was at my heaviest ever. I was weighing 162 kilos. So during the first 6 months, I managed to drop around 30 kilos. And then also agreeing with the doctor, okay, now it's time to start little by little doing a bit of exercise.
What was that diet then that you used for the first 30 kilos? And this, so it was 30 kilos in 6 months?
Around, yeah. I wasn't, to be honest, really counting the calories. I was just more focused on the quality of food and on the portion size itself, just eating good food, not binge eating, especially during the weekends when I was off work. So, but again, the most important thing was that mental switch I had. So I was really focused, okay, now it's now or never, I have to do it. I've been surrounded by great friends who supported me a lot, even going out for dinners or going to their place, having dinner together. We would eat the same meal, so this really helped as well. And so I learned how to behave on a diet perspective.
And then so you said that switch. Like, what was that moment? Like, did you have a moment? Did you have your aha moment where you just said enough is enough? It's time to change.
I had it. For example, my brother was a really big push, big source of motivation, as well as something very personal. I had a former schoolmate of mine. She was very active, very fit, playing volleyball. So same age, and she passed away, unfortunately, because of a cancer. So when I heard that news, I was like, okay, what the hell am I doing with my life then? I'm still young. I used to be fit when I was a teenager, you know, so it's time to get it back.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually, isn't it? Sometimes at these moments, these hard moments in life, these are the things that actually propel us to actually make that change, which is cool. And especially when it comes to life and death, these are the things that really open our eyes in terms of like, okay.
And what I realized especially is that you really have to find yourself in the perfect spot for starting, because everybody, of course, for your own health will try to tell you, okay, you need to do this, you should go for a diet, you should exercise. But if you don't feel like it's like for people smoking, it's not good for you, you should. But if it doesn't come from you, if something personal, if you don't have your personal switch,
you need to have that internal, that intrinsic motivation that makes you want to do it, because only you know when the doors are closed if you decide to eat the chocolate or order the takeaway or do these things. So, like when you say the diet, like, is this a diet then that you kind of made for yourself? Was it prescribed by a nutritionist, or what was the actual
I was
strategy?
followed by a company, but again, there was no medical check at all. It was just the weekly weigh-in.
So that was the accountability factor there. It was like every week you met
Every
with
week,
a professional
I
and
had
done
to
a
show
weigh-in.
up. Yes. She only gave me a booklet about what type of food I was allowed to eat, and then okay, you have to have one portion of this every day, one portion of this. But then again, it was about counting the calories.
It was a calorie control approach that they wanted you to do, but you were using your sensibility, your own intuition, and also controlling the portion size, etc. And that got, what was it, 30 kilos off in 6 months?
Yeah.
Wow. And then so then you walk in the door, you meet me, we start training together. What was that first couple of months, that first year like working together?
So it has been very tough because most of the exercises were brand new to me. I remember you demonstrating like the deadlift, and you pretended the very first time to lift, for especially for me, to lift like 70, 80 kgs. I was like, what? And I was even joking, taking the piece with you, like, okay, would you be able to do that? And you were doing it
easy.
Yeah, closed eyes. So doing the push-ups, for example, I wasn't even able to do them on my knees at the beginning. So I literally had to start from scratch. Pretty much every single exercise. So, but yeah, I put the consistency, the motivation. I was with my friend Simone as well. We liked you. Maybe the first months it has happened several times. I was like, because we used to work out, I remember, on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And back then I used to be off work on Mondays and Tuesday. So doing nothing during the whole day and then having to meet up with you at 5:30, several times it happened. I was like, I don't feel like going. I really hope Simone is gonna tell me, I'm busy at work, I'm not, I won't be able. And maybe once, twice it has happened that I didn't come, I didn't show up. But all the other times I wasn't feeling like going. Right after the session, I was like, I would have been stupid not going, you know. So yeah, the beginning was still a hard work, especially mentally, because everything was new to me, but was worth it.
And what was to go back then to your previous experience with fitness? So obviously when you gained all the weight, obviously exercise was very hard, but when you're younger, you played a lot of football. What was your experience with exercise and sport in general before?
I was very active back then as well, because I was training, I was playing football, doing also karate. So karate 3 times a week, football pretty much every day. So I was training a lot and I was eating a lot. Again, not caring about the calories, but I was active. And then because of a knee injury, I had to quit when I was nearly 17. The thing is, I stopped training, but I kept eating the same amount. So that's where the problem started. and I completely stopped for a couple of years. So that's where I gained weight for the first time.
Yeah.
And then I went for my first diet when I was 22, 23, where I was weighing back then almost 135 kilos, and I managed to lose around 20 kilos. For a while, I managed to maintain it. Still, I was overweight, but was, I would say, okay, considering I wasn't working out. Apart from, I kept playing football, but as an amateur with friends. But then when I left home, so I moved first to Milan to study a master, to attend a master degree, and then moving here to Ireland, where the problem came
Yeah.
back and even got worse. So, and I reached, as I said, 62 kilos.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah, the quality of sleep was very, very bad.
and was that 'cause I know you like was that due to gaming or watching too much TV, social media?
It was all about, yeah, during the day I would work and then I would just be home. Yeah, either playing some video games or watching TV, cooking my own Italian food,
Yeah.
but the amount again for just one person was a bit too much.
Yeah.
Exceeding with the takeaways, especially on the weekends.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very bad attitude.
Yeah.
Food,
And then, like, did you
food
have
wise.
much of a? Because obviously it was a while before you said you settled into work and stuff like that. So, like, did you feel lonely and isolated before you kind of got that job with Apex? I know you did
The
mention.
thing is, I moved to Dundalk, so for me, having being born and raised in a big town like Palermo and then moved to Milan, so being used to big cities and moving to the Dundalk, which is a small town, new place, new people, new culture and lifestyle, not doing the job I was hoping for the first couple of years.
Yeah.
I tried to get back to Italy several times, but at least with all due respect, even if I didn't like my first job, it was a permanent contract, gave me the possibility to be economically independent. So that's why I couldn't find the right chance to leave.
Yeah.
That's why I got somehow stuck. But then when I joined PayPal, I was okay, now this is a huge company, big name, big opportunity for me to develop my career path.
Yeah.
So that's also helped me a lot to have that switch
Yeah.
to start then my journey. So, and then, yeah, I got used to, I managed to meet new people, new friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but my point there is like a core part of it that a lot of people struggle with is like the loneliness or the boredom factor when it comes to food. It's like food is it's not just a comfort; it's also entertainment. It's something to do, and
Yeah, the thing is, it was also my bad because maybe unconsciously, again, the first couple of years, I didn't really care about making new friends because I didn't like here, I didn't like the job. So yeah, I was just socializing with some work colleagues, and that's it. So I wasn't the type of person going out on weekends or no. But then again, when I joined PayPal, when I started my journey, I also gained self-confidence, self-motivation to do it. So yeah, that's where I started also socializing more. And
okay, cool. And then so the guys that don't know, so obviously you said you were our first official client. You and Simone were our first official clients publicly. That kind of really just did happen by chance. I was just training up in the gym. I was doing a personal training course. You guys walked in. I had been training some family at that point, but mostly it was my sister and Jenny's sister, Samantha, who's a coach in the gym now as well. And then you guys walked in because of your age. You know, the other boxing coaches knew that you're there more for fitness than for kind of competition. So they kind of sent me down to talk to you guys. What was that experience like in terms of like the training style, or what was it that made you stick around? So obviously, you know, we built a good relationship over the last couple of years, or the last 10 years. You know, what was it that really made you stick around? What was the thing that you liked the most about the approach back then?
maybe because, especially at the beginning, and that's again what I really needed at first, was having a very personal approach, just me and you and Simone. So just about few people, having few people around. Maybe I wouldn't have felt comfortable
In
a group or going to a bigger gym where surrounded by a lot of people, especially in my conditions, physical condition back then. So this helped a lot, and I still feel the same kind of situation here at Fighting Fit today is because during the classes we just max we can be it's 14 people, which is the right number. Then we know pretty much each other, we push each other, we motivate each other, so that creates a really good atmosphere. What I like, actually,
that kind of camaraderie, community element, because that's what it says.
Exactly.
Like, it's like really do feel like it really is all about relationships. If you don't have a good relationship with somebody, they're not going to want to do the work that needs to be done. Or a better way to say it is, another one of our clients who's been with us a long time, not too long after that, was Michael Mulholland. And one of the kind of things that he said, which kind of really set a light bulb off for me, was that he didn't want to let you down by not showing up, because we kind of invest in kind of creating a good relationship. And it's like, if you know that I'm there waiting for you to show up and kind of come to whether it's a boot camp or a personal training session, you don't want to let the other person down by not showing up. And obviously we had that, but also you had that with Simone as well. So I think that can be such an important part of starting the journey, is obviously to go to somebody that you like with, that you can kind of build a relationship with, but also if you've got friends or family, you get them involved too, because then you're not going to want to let each other down. I think that can make a big difference on the days that you don't really want to show up, which I think is pretty cool. So over the last 10 years, we've done loads of cool stuff. Like, what are your favorite highlights? What are your top 2 or 3 things that you're most proud of? Obviously, you've lost an incredible amount of weight, but also you've done things like the white collar boxing and different things like that. Like, what are your standout moments in your?
I have a great memory of our first Hallenbach. Was in 2016, because it was 3 months after my surgery. So I've been home for a few months, because after dropping a lot of weight, I wanted to get rid of all the excess skin. So I came back here in March, and then we had the Hallenbach was in May. So, and again, I was really afraid, really concerned about it, fitness-wise, and also because of my condition, if I could hurt myself. And at the end, I remember we have a very nice picture together at the end of it.
The flags. Was that the start? That was
at the end. No, that was at the end of the race. And when it happens, I look at this picture. I really feel proud of myself, because I managed to do it after a huge surgery again, and after having been through a lot. So it was a really, really great moment for me.
Amazing.
And then I also remember, in a nice as well bitter way, the white collar, because even though I did it again after another surgery, because I broke my thumb when we were filming for it. So it was in September, I think, the first time we had.
Well, yeah, it was September, October.
Because I had the surgery in June, but still, for example, like Michael Mulholland said, I didn't want to let you down.
Yeah.
Because
that was our first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would have had all the rights to say, guys, I don't feel like going for it because of my surgery of my hand. But still, I remember I was training with you guys with the full cast on, just
using one hand.
I wanted to do it. It was just showing, challenging myself again, but as well as not letting you down, showing some sort of respect for you, because you were doing so much for your clients, for us. So that gave me the push to do it. I lost, I don't care, because still was a huge experience. Even the day before, I got hit by accident at my hand. It was very sore. So even the day before, I was like, should I go or not? But it's too late now to step back. So that's another great moment. So I will put this at the top 2, definitely. And then lately, something I will never stop thanking you guys. For example, these last couple of years for me have been very, very tough, very hard. Family issues. I lost my job at Meta altogether. I got injured again at my back, my elbow. So I fell off the track again. So I put a little bit of weight, not as much as I was before, but. But once I came back, once I recovered from my injury, again, I found the same, how can I say, the same support I always had from you guys, like if it was the very first day. So helping me to start, I wouldn't say this time from scratch, but kind of, especially for a mental. From a mental point of view for me. So you managed to give me that support, that push once again to start. And now I'm almost back on track,
Yeah.
thanks to you guys. So because as you know, especially with Chris, we agreed that I have little bit more time now, so I can both work out here, but I feel also because I want to get fitter, get better, improve, even though I'm 40 plus years. We agreed on setting up another training program. So he follows me, he checks on me at least every month, just how it's going, are you having any progressions and stuff. So I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah. So for the people that don't know, then like you're an animal for the training. Like you play, how many times a week do you play football on average? At least
3 times.
3 times a week.
Yeah.
You train and find fit 4 times a week usually, is it?
5 days a week.
5, you do all, most of the time you do
Yeah.
5, and then you're in Apex then
At least 4 days a
4
week.
days a week. So you're kind of training a lot of times 2 or 3 times a day. Like how do you manage to keep that intensity going?
For now, I can do it because still, especially lately in this last year, I took it as my own priority, getting back on track after what I've been through lately. And I'm single, so I can allow myself to have more free time, focusing on it. It's tough. Sometimes I feel like when I wake up in the morning, oh no, today I'm gonna. At least this is something I really learned now. When I was, let's say, I would say pre-pandemic, I was really a workaholic. Like, no, I have to work out every single day, even on Sunday. Otherwise, because considering where I was coming from, if I didn't do something every single day, I would feel guilty. Oh no, I'm gaining weight. I'm afraid. Now I learned how to listen to my body, especially after the last injuries. Okay, if someday I should feel wrecked, tired, I would rather going just for a walk and rest, doing some stretching, and that's it.
Yeah, and what is that like practically, like in terms of like listening to your body, knowing when to take a day off? Like...
there are days when I really feel physically tired. For example, now I'm sitting. If I wanted to stand up, my legs would shake. Or my back, when I feel my back very stiff, I rather doing some stretching. If I know the day before, let's say I've been through a double session plus footy game, and my knees, my ankles, they feel it the day after. So if depends on what I would have in a training program that day. Let's say if my legs are sore, but I know I'm gonna work out the upper body. Okay, I will still, even though I feel tired, I will still push myself and say, okay, now let's go anyway. Otherwise, no.
But over the years, you've just learned your limits. Know when if my legs are sore, I'll train my upper body. My upper body's sore, I'll train my lower body. That type of stuff. And obviously the football things. We play football together a lot of five-a-side and that kind of stuff. And for me, I love the gym. I definitely love the crack in the gym. Love doing like the group workouts, that kind of stuff. My favorite way to train has always been sport, with either boxing or football, are my two favorite sports. So like a boxing session, doing things like shoulders, knees, and stuff. I can do that for hours. Same as football. I can play football for hours. Like, what is that journey for you like? Like, do you love? Is that your favorite part of training, or what's your favorite part of training? Because obviously, because you're training, 10 times a week at least. Like, what kind of motivates you to do it, or what do you love about
it? I can say I would love everything, mostly the same level. I look at football like as a nice way of doing some cardio, because I try to push myself to run as much as I can. I'm very competitive when I play football, even though it's just among friends, but still I want to win every single game. I would like to win every single game. While here or by myself, when I do the strength and condition sessions, would be more like trying to get the best version of myself. When I look at feeling good with myself, looking at myself in a good shape. So that's why that gives the motivation for me to keep going. And
and so let's talk about your let's say your overall result then. So kind of the training, because it makes you feel good, makes you look good. Like, so obviously since you're heaviest, you've lost, what did we say, 60 kilos, which is an incredible amount of weight. What's that, 110, 15 pounds, something like that?
Should be around 120,
120, 30 pounds even. So, unbelievable amount of weight. Like, how has that affected your life then outside the gym? So obviously the gym and fitness and training and sports takes up so much of that. How has that affected your life then outside the gym in terms of relationships, friendships, family, that kind of stuff?
As I mentioned before, when I started dropping weight, looking different at myself, I also gained a lot of self-esteem, self-confidence. I remember even some colleagues of mine used to tell me at PayPal, because PayPal was a huge office, so if you wanted to go from this point, from point A to point B, you had to walk quite a lot. So I've been told a few times, I remember you the very first days or weeks, you were kind of by yourself, not really talking to anybody, but now that you look fit, you look grand, you don't do it on purpose, but looks like you're just showing off on the corridors,
Yeah.
the way you walk, and maybe it's something unconscious, but you really feel better with yourself first of all, and then maybe again unconsciously, I'm not being arrogant, but you somehow would like other people to look at you.
Yeah.
Just maybe they don't know your story, what's on the background, but because you will feel like, oh, if you only knew where I'm coming from and what I'm right now. So that gives you that push, that again, first of all, self-confidence, and then of course you have to manage it, because again, you could end up also be a little bit arrogant,
Yeah.
like, but mm, maybe at the very beginning, again, unconsciously and unfortunately, I might have acted like that, but then I simply understood the way it works, like, okay, I've done great things, but I should be actually a source of inspiration for other people. So that's why I try to act differently, to behave differently, and also started also.
But isn't part of that as well? I feel like, because I've kind of been through a similar journey, obviously, and I can kind of remember when I was kind of younger and kind of losing the weight. We're almost a little too, I don't know, arrogance maybe not the right word. It's almost like false confidence, because maybe we've been maybe so shy and so timid and been afraid to express ourselves for so long, that when we actually lose weight and feel like we actually start to look good, then that we maybe overcompensate for maybe all the years and maybe all the time lost, that we're trying to kind of impress people, when really the only person we need to impress is ourselves. And then you mentioned there kind of about inspiring people. So I know you've also, through your journey of losing all the weight, you became a massive source of inspiration for a lot of your colleagues, especially. What has that experience been like, being someone who's been on such a long winding road on their own kind of health and fitness journey, to then be a source of inspiration and have people coming to you and asking you for advice and what to do? Like, what has that journey been like, and is there any kind of standout moments or relationships?
I have many friends, many colleagues actually reaching out to me, asking for advices, for suggestions. The very first thing I tell them is, again, you really have to want it. If you want to start such a journey, you have to be patient and consistent. You will have lots of ups and downs, so don't just feel like, it's not gonna work if you don't see it. I remember actually, there has been for 6 months, it was we started in summertime, and then until Christmas time, with a colleague of mine from PayPal, we had different shift. So because we used to have a nice gym there, I used to go there even on my days off. She would take her lunch break. We would have some session. I would actually train her, and I was giving her advices also, diet-wise, and it really worked. And I can literally remember, maybe most of the times she wouldn't like to train with the weights and say, listen, you're not gonna gain muscles. I mean, you will tone yourself, but if you want to bulk, you have to eat a lot more. Here, we're just you want to lose a few kilos, feeling better with yourself. So, and I can remember one day, she texted me, she was on her period, and so she was simply looking at herself at the mirror. I said, no, I'm feeling, swollen, you're bloated. No, we have to stop using weights and that thing. I say, listen, calm down, take your time. It's okay. You're just having one of your days. And I clearly remember a week later, again, another text from her saying, I went for some shopping today. I got myself a pair of jeans. It has been the very first time since I don't know how many years I managed to buy, I don't remember now if it was size 12 or 14, which for her was a huge achievement. So you see, but again, fair play to her because she's been very dedicated, consistent with it. She listened to me. And even I remember I used to joke with my colleagues because we were going for the workout and then straight back to work. And she was like, I'm also, I'm dying. So all the other colleagues would come to me and say, will you stop killing Sylvia, tormenting Sylvia? She's asking for it. But then as well, many other people ask me, what should I eat? What should I do? It's very personal anyway, depends on your goals, what you're looking for. But still, it's all about being committed and consistent and patient.
And as you said, even the start about like it's the mindset. So like how has your mindset shifted over the years from the person that was 60 kilos overweight to the person you are today? And then also like what advice would you give to other people around mindset in general in terms of achieving the goals and maybe staying on track, being consistent?
From what I learned, and still I keep doing a lot of mistakes, by the way, especially for people like that they are starting from the same point where I started at the very beginning. Again, find your own motivation to start such journey and being dedicated to it, not allowing yourself any distraction. It can happen and still you have to enjoy life somehow, but just be aware that it's not something you have to make a lot of sacrifices, but not just for a week or a month. It could last even a couple of years. You can fall aside several times, which is normal. We're all humans. But as long as you find that motivation, because once you start seeing the first results, the first progresses, you say, okay, it's worth it. But again, if you don't put the effort, you're not seeing anything. And then once you reach your goal, of course, like, for example, I'm still planning to lose few more kilos. But then I know that, for example, in my mindset would be, you have to enjoy life. So during the week, because I'm busy with working out, so I would kind of sticking with the plan, behaving as usual, and then enjoying life on the weekends if I want to have a takeaway, a dinner out. I wouldn't say a drink because I don't really drink, but for people who drink, they can enjoy, a couple of drinks. So it's all about having a balance at some stage. But first, until you don't reach your goal, you just have to be 100% focused on it.
I think the thing that really stood out for me when you said it, you almost kind of prefaced it at the start with, I still make mistakes too. And I think for me, that's one of the biggest mindset shifts is that like, you're not going to be perfect. Accept yourself for who you are. It's a never ending journey. There is no finish line.
Exactly.
It's like, you just have to accept, I just accept now that exercise is a part of my life forever. Like for me, it was hard when I kind of moved away from when I, similar to you, like maybe stopped boxing when I was 17, and then I lost the identity as a boxer. So I had no real reason or want to train. And then I started drinking and partying in college and all this kind of stuff. And then over time, I gained about 50, 60 pounds, Whereas then when I come back and I had the identity then as a personal trainer, I had more of a want in me to train and look a certain way, etc. But then again, once I then got Chris and Brandon and started building a team, and then I kind of became behind the doors, or behind the computer, then that personal trainer identity started to slip away, and then I kind of started to gain weight back and this kind of stuff. And only now I'm kind of really trying to getting back into fitness and this kind of stuff. But it's just like, that's why I say I love football, love boxing, love the classes, but it's just like I have to train 3 or 4 times a week. But it's giving yourself that permission to fail forward. This concept of just fail forward. It's like, accept you're going to fail forward. You're not always going to be up. As you said, like different seasons of life you've went through again, you've achieved amazing things, and then life punches you in the face. We all going to face, like death, hardships, depression, losing friends, losing family. Like if you haven't faced it yet, like life is going to throw big curveballs at us. So we're not going to be able to maintain perfect all the time. You have to be willing to fail forward. And that just means some weeks doing your best. And one of my favorite things is, the book, The 4 Agreements, one of the rules is always do your best. And that some weeks your best is up here, it's 10 out of 10. Some weeks your best is 10 workouts, 15 workouts, diet's perfect. Other weeks your best is just getting to work and going for a walk. And it's like, and that's okay too, that you don't have to always be perfect, always follow the plan. Because I think that's the thing that stops a lot of people from starting is, well, I can't do it perfectly yet. So it's I can't do it perfect. So like, oh, I'm going to wait until after the summer holidays, or I'm going to wait until after I get my new job, or I'm going to wait till after the kids go to primary school or secondary school or whatever it might be. So they're always waiting until they've got the perfect time instead of just saying, listen, I'm willing to fail forward. I'm going to make exercise and eating a little bit better a part of my daily, my weekly routine, and then just going to continue to fail forward, stumble forward in pursuit of that, but recognize that it's never going to end. It's not, as again, even we do like 90-day programs and stuff,
no,
it's like it never ends.
I
You have to
agree.
keep
I
going.
would
As soon as you
also
give up, you're done.
I would also say together with that, it's another important thing, like one of the many mistakes I've made. Like for long time, I will stick to the plan. I will be consistent, just 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. But it has happened several times, like something happens in life, that an injury, whatever, so I have to stop working out.
Yeah.
So I completely stop with my usual habits and I will switch off. So I would be like, it's either all black or all white.
Yeah.
But then many people unfortunately fail on this because once they stop, maybe they've been very consistent, very committed for a long time, something happens, they have to stop.
Yeah.
But then they never find their way back at some stage because it's okay. Something, okay, life
100%.
can be tough. At least it has been very hard, but I managed. Like the beginning of this year, I was like, no, now it's now or never again, because I gained a lot of weight back, so I have to do something once again. So they have to find the willpower, the strength to start back.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, okay, it has been nice, I loved it, but now I don't feel like going for it again. No, it's a lifestyle. So
what was that? What was that like for you? Like having to, because again, I've done it. You know, like what is it like to have to do it again? I've already lost the weight, and now say maybe I've gained 20 pounds back or 30 pounds, and it's like now I have to do it again. Like, what is it like? Do you feel like you're starting from experience as you are, which is obviously I think the positive way to look at it? Well, I'm not starting from scratch. I'm starting from experience. I know exactly what to do. I know what worked the last time. It'll work again. But what is that like to maybe face yourself in the mirror, to maybe talk to the coaches and say, I've gained a little bit of weight? Like, how does that feel to actually approach that journey again? Because I'm sure a lot of people have fallen off the wagon, gained the weight back, this kind of stuff. Like, what has that experience been like?
First of all, you have to be very open with yourself. For example, when talking with the coaches, telling them everything you feel, how you feel, and don't be too harsh with yourself. So personally speaking, I trying to push myself, like saying, I've been there already, I know how it works, I know it's gonna take quite a long time. Maybe, thank God, not as long as the first time, but still. So again, it's about going back to such mindset and say, okay, let's be patient and consistent. To be honest, when I came back, I was like, I wasn't feeling again comfortable showing up, being around other people, because I remember I used to be different. Now I went back to a bad shape. So, but again, people here, it's not that they don't care. We are all here to support each other.
Of course.
So to push each other, to motivate. So, and this really helped me again.
But was that hard then coming back because you gained maybe a little bit of weight back? Because obviously you went home, you had your...
Again, I finally found that mental peace to be focused on it. And so was a lot of self-talk in my personal situation, like just be consistent. Maybe the first couple of weeks, don't go too hard, just get used to it again, to the usual stuff.
But my question is, did you avoid coming into the gym because you didn't want anybody to see that you gained weight? And then maybe you trained in Apex for a few weeks until maybe you lost the first 5 or 10 pounds and then come back in.
Yes.
Did anything like that happen?
It happened, or maybe even wearing bigger
clothes,
tight clothes, you know, to hide. The very, I mean, the thought of not wanting to come here only lasted a couple of days. But I say, but that's the only place where I can improve myself, so I have to go anyway. But that thought.
Because that happened to me, obviously, as kind of being someone that owns a gym, and kind of, again, because I've been on this journey kind of with you, like, you know, kind of like, you know, like gaining anywhere from 10, 15, even 20 pounds in some seasons of life, depending on what's kind of going on. You're always gaining weight, losing weight, this type of stuff. But the hard part for me was always, like coming in the train. I owned the gym, and me coming into the train, the gym, and then also not being the strongest, not being the leanest, not being the fittest, this type of stuff. And that would hold me back a lot until one time I just with self-compassion, just said, listen, people came to Fighting Fit because we're real people. We're not bodybuilders. We're not this like Instagram models, this kind of stuff. It's like, we're real people and we're on the journey with you. So I hope that kind of people would resonate a little bit with that. And also the other quote is, I love quotes, is, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. So by like being afraid to enter into the gym because maybe you feel too self-conscious, you're too overweight, you don't look a certain way, and not just Fighting Fit, but anywhere, you got to get in there. You got to get in there. Nobody in any gym that I know of, and the fitness industry is an amazing industry because it's full of amazing people, nobody is going to judge you, for going in and wanting to be better, to look better. So if you are afraid, if you are nervous of getting in there and getting stuck in, like, just do it. Take that first step. Exactly. And once you do it, well, they've seen me now, so I might as well keep going. 100%, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like, it's trying to protect this false image of yourself, trying to pretend that you're fitter and healthier than you really are. So just go ahead and acknowledge it, own it, and then be yourself, and then just move forward. And then once it's done, rip the Band-Aid off, get in there, and it's go time. Yep. But again, so obviously you've been with Fighting Fit for for almost 10 years. Is it 10? When are we 10 years? It's October, isn't it? 10 years in October, something like that. So like literally a couple of weeks away. Yeah. I need to check the dates, go back on the social media, that kind of stuff. But like, how have you found, being a client through all that time? What have you found about let's say the evolution of Fighting Fit? So obviously we started with just me and you, with just personal training. Then I'm not sure if there was boot camps and different things and boxer size and that kind of stuff. But slowly but surely has kind of changed over the years. Like, what have been, from your perspective, what does that evolution look like? What has improved over the years, or what have you liked, disliked? What does that evolution look like for you as a client?
I always admired you guys because you just didn't, when you starting the business, you just haven't stick to one single plan and kept going for it. Okay, it works for most of people, so that's it. We don't need to change it. Throughout these years, you've done so many changes, so many upgrades. From here, when we moved to the bigger venue, moving into kind of more CrossFit style of workouts, then unfortunately that didn't last long, and we had to come back here, going back to the roots, but still adjusting, accommodating in a great way, using the personal Fighting Fit app, where you can track your workouts. You can know in advance what type of workout you're gonna have. All this, how can you call it, being so organized, planning already ahead of the curve. Or if something doesn't work, especially if I remember during the pandemic, where all the gym closed. Okay, what are you gonna do? You didn't step back. You started filming, recording lots of home workouts, also doing classes live through Zoom.
Doing classes outside.
Outside, yeah. So you always found a solution for every single problem or issue. So circumventing it, overcoming it. So, and that's something that wouldn't be that common, in most of the places. So they would just, no, this is the way it works. Unfortunately, it's just this or nothing.
Yeah, no, for us, I feel like for me, anyway, because I'm kind of usually my kind of role in the business, I feel is like the drive innovation, because we genuinely are interested in creating the best program. Like, that's our goal. Our goal is to make the best possible program that we can. And I think that's one of the things that makes us, I would hope, such good coaches, in the sense that we were always willing to take responsibility and say, well, listen, if Mary, although Mary, maybe she wasn't quote unquote a good client, it's like, what did I need to have in place? How could I have communicated better with Mary? How could I have had a program better? What did she need? What did I need to do to motivate her better? And we're always looking at these types of opportunities in terms of what we can do. And obviously you mentioned like the other place that didn't work out, plan permission, the neighbors, we said we're too noisy, whatever. And also I kind of felt like that was something that I had, for people that don't know that whole story, that was something that I had on my vision board, 5,000 square foot facility. That's just something that I wanted to do. But then when I had it, it just never it just never felt right for me. And listen, I feel like we still done a good job, like we'll always do, always put our best foot forward and always do our best. But I feel like we just lost something. Maybe it was because of COVID and all this kind of stuff, people's social distancing, and after COVID, maybe people weren't. But like, I feel like we lost that magic of the community a little bit. And like when people were coming in, again, maybe they like the program, but we weren't building the same types of relationships that we were before. And as I said earlier on, it's like the relationship is the most important part. If you don't have a relationship with someone, they're not going to show up when they don't want to show up. They're not going to stick with it because it's just the gym. It's just a workout. It's not what we want it to be anyway. So, innovation I think is a massive thing in what we do, and we're always kind of growing and changing. But I love what we have now in this kind of space. The kind of workouts, it's structured, it's organized. You get the best of both worlds because you still have your online coach on the back end too for the check-ins, for the tech support. You've got your weigh-ins, your workouts, your meal plans, all available for in your app. So it's very simple and straightforward. If you just want to look at your phone, what's the 2 or 3 things I need to do today? Check the box, go get it done, get a high five, a fist pump, and kind of move on with your day, which is pretty cool. But then from a more practical side, let's say someone's sitting watching the podcast today, they're looking to lose 20, 30 pounds, 40, 50 pounds, whatever it is. Like, what practical advice would you give to that person in terms of, okay, what do you need to do to start losing weight in terms of like maybe diet or exercise? Like, where would you encourage them to start? Not necessarily like, you're not looking for a plug for Fighting Fit, but like practically, like what works for weight loss? As someone who's lost an incredible amount of weight, what actually works?
I will tell those people to look at their current habits, what it's stopping them from losing weight, for feeling better. And once they realize what's not working, they have to adjust it.
Yeah.
They have to change actually lifestyle. So starting from them, few steps, small steps, one step after each other, and see how it goes, because of course maybe sometimes you also need to sit down again and reevaluate and change the plan of action. But again, it's all about what you really want, what you want to do in order to reach it. And once you realize that, be patient, be consistent, try to push yourself as much as you can. Sometimes slow down a bit if you need, of course, but try to be as much consistent as you can. And then again, it will be worth it.
Yeah, consistently. But then, what steps am I taking every day? So if I want to lose 50 pounds, like what does your daily routine look like in terms of like when you're on the ball trying to lose weight? Like, are we tracking calories? Are we meal prepping?
Yeah.
Are we?
I used to do every single weekend already by using my fitness pal. I would just already organize the menu for the whole week, the following week. So I know ahead if I need to cook something in advance, what I need to buy when doing my grocery shopping. So I'm very organized about that. Now lately,
Are you quite repetitive in your meals and your choices? Of the similar same
I would
meals?
say every day of the week I would eat the same things.
Like Monday to Friday, and then a little bit more flexibility on the weekends.
Yeah. So knowing what you're eating, what is gonna be on your diet first of all, and then work around it in terms of your physical activity. If you're not able to work out, at least try to go for walks. I used to run a lot, but now as well, because of my back issues, for now, and also my knee, I prefer walking.
Yeah, and football, obviously.
Football, yeah. Also plan in advance, like now winter is coming, so windy days, rainy days, cold days. I bought myself a home treadmill.
Nice, nice.
So just thinking about, those weekends, I'm not gonna train, I'm not gonna do anything. It's raining, so I'm not even going for a walk.
Yeah.
I would just watch football or a movie on the treadmill.
Yeah, nice, nice.
So try to be as much active as you can. And then, of course, working out, going to the gym, doing a little bit of strength sessions. But of course, as we all know, 70%, if not 80% of the work is made in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So be very careful of what your diet is.
Yeah.
And then being around it, trying to be as much active as you can.
Yeah. And because obviously a big part of it kind of, for me anyway, from my perspective, is that accountability you get from working with a professional. And again, not even saying Fighting Fit, because again, your first thing was it, what was it called? Motivation, I think was it Motivation? Was that the company name? Where they do the
Motivation, yeah,
where they
yeah.
do the weekly check-ins and
Yeah,
stuff. So
yeah.
just like having that little bit of external accountability, or being forced to do, not being forced, but opting for that feedback every week, that you're getting kind of regular feedback and support, that like you have a structure in place, something to follow. So having a structure, having some accountability, like has that been a big part of your journey over the last 10 years? Like, what do you feel like? For me, I'm like, what's the secret sauce? Everyone's looking for the secret. Like, what is the secret? I'm kind of like, I think the secret is having structure and accountability. If I know where I have to be, if I know where I have to be, know what I have to do, know what I'm supposed to eat, and then, because I know I'm probably not going to do it perfect, I'm probably going to do it maybe 80% most of the time, but then I get that feedback, I have to check in, I have to be accountable, I have to acknowledge what worked, what didn't work, and then try again next week. And then slowly but surely, we stumble forward.
I believe the secret would be challenging yourself, always setting up such challenge. Like I have to going for a weekly check-in, so something is gonna look at my
Mm-hmm.
way in and say, okay, you didn't get any results. What have you done?
Mm-hmm.
So for my personal point of view, for a sense of pride, like I want to show someone else
Yeah.
that I'm putting the effort. So that's why I would say challenging myself in sticking to the plan. And then of course the other person is not gonna judge you anyway. Actually, it can happen you stick to the plan for real, but you don't get any results. So if that's the case, especially with you guys, again, we will try to understand what is not working,
Mm-hmm.
what I could do, what I could edit to improve
Yeah.
and to get better results. So, but again, I would say it's trying to always setting up several challenges. Like, okay, let's say weight-wise, I'm okay now. What would be the next step?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's improve my fitness performances.
Yeah.
Like my current goal now is I'm trying to focus on the pull-ups. So I'm almost there in being able to do one full pull-up. So I'm pushing myself about it. Once I will do it, I will keep working on it in order to do more.
Yeah.
But then maybe I will move also into another goal.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think that's actually a great perspective in terms of, because that's something that we try and do with our program, and I think that's one of the reasons why I genuinely do believe like our program now is better than it's ever been, is because you're tracking your sets and reps and the workouts. After every workout, you get that instant feedback. You have a standard set for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, my squat last week was 50 kilos. This week it's 52.5. Or maybe last week I got 8 reps. Now I got 9 reps or 10 reps. Even just that one extra rep. So that my point there is that gives you a whole new reason to train, because instead of we're accepting that, listen, we're not only going to be engaged in health and fitness when I'm trying to lose weight, which is what happens to most people in my experience and my own personal experience, but also obviously working with hundreds of clients obviously at this point, is, we start the why, that internal motivation is because I want to lose weight. I want to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever it is. And then I lose the weight. So then I lose the reason I had to train in the first place. I have a story where, I don't really like exercise that much. So I stopped the training. And although I feel that the nutrition, as we said, is 70, 80% of the journey, I feel for whatever reason, when we're training regularly, we're more motivated to eat better. So
Yeah.
kind of, so like when where it's like this kind of on the wagon, off the wagon. When I stop exercising, I stop dieting, and usually it's the stopping the exercise that happens first. I find anyway, it's very hard to eat healthy if I'm not really. Why am I eating my protein? Why, like, because I had a hard workout this morning or tonight, or I'm trying to kind of work towards that. So my main point there is, the workouts, having a reason to train, trying to get fitter, faster, and stronger alongside your body composition goals. Because there's some weeks in life, and for me, this is what helps in them weeks that maybe we're failing forward, that maybe I'm not really in a place where I'm going to diet or maintain a calorie deficit, or maybe I'm going to have, maybe it's just celebration. Like I got married last year. That was just, I was celebrating for months. You know what I mean? Like going out for dinner and just kind of enjoying it, which is fine. But it's like, but stay in the gym, keep training, because even if you're not in a calorie deficit, you can still work towards a new deadlift PB. You can still work towards a new bench press PB, or a squat PB, or a 5K time, or whatever it might be. Something that's going to keep you in the gym and maybe turn something that would have been, falling off the wagon and getting 20 pounds and, oh, well, I gained 10 pounds. It's like, okay, well, listen, you had a good time. Fair enough. You maintained your health and finish, you maintained the routine. Now let's get back on. And it's much easier to lose 10 pounds when you haven't lost the momentum of training than it is to have lost 20 pounds and I haven't trained in 6 months. It's a much harder place to kind of get back from. Would you agree?
100% agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so as we kind of start to wrap it up, then like, what would your advice be to somebody then kind of more related to Fighting Fit in terms of like if they're not sure about signing up, if they had any questions, any queries, like what's the experience like? What could somebody expect if they decided to push the button and join Fighting Fit next week?
I keep telling to many people since now, I would say 10 years. Again, from a personal experience, I never had a single thought of leaving you guys, just working out by myself. And I keep telling people you guys would follow them every single day. They can reach out to you at any moment through the app, through a phone call, showing up here in the gym, asking for any type of advice, any type of moral support as well, personal support, whatever. So I never stop recommending you guys enough, seriously. I'm being serious when I say this. So the way you organize, the way you support people, the way you approach people, you're being so approachable, so supportive. I haven't seen not a little bit in anywhere else.
Yeah.
So to me, this is like a family with you guys, with the other guys, the 115 crew.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even have the words how to recommend enough new people trying to reach their fitness goal to join Fighting Fit. Seriously, it's worth it. Give it a try. Don't be shy. Don't feel like maybe I'm not good enough for it. Maybe it's too much. Just try. Everybody here, from Steven to Brandon to Chris to ending up with myself, are here to support each other, to push each other, and work out together. So
yeah, does it make such a big difference having as we say, like, a community of like-minded people on a similar journey, and everyone's nice, everyone's nice, everyone's polite, everyone's supportive, everyone's here trying to show up and be the best version of themselves. I said there's no egos, we push each other on. Again, as you said about football, we're competitive. If I see the boys, I'm like, flip, I'd love to lift 100 kilo too. So I'm kind of working towards that, and but it's more of a friendly, competitive spirit than I want to beat somebody else. If seeing them be their best inspires you to be better, and that's one of the beautiful things about, I think, working out in a group. And the 115 is such a good, one of the best atmospheres of any class, because there really is such a tight knit bunch of people in the 115 class, which is great. And a lunchtime class as well, for a lot of people is fantastic. Some people, the lads, some of the postmen in there, they start very early, so they can do it after work. But for some people, just popping down on the lunch break, getting that 40-minute workout in, can be fantastic. And then so how would you want to wrap this up in terms of any final words? What's next for you?
Well, I'm looking forward to the next 10 years, hopefully together. So it means we are getting old, fit, healthy. So, and again, I will never thank you enough for what you all have done. You are my Irish family here, as well as other few people.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much thank you again.
Well, listen, from the bottom of my heart, honestly, on behalf of myself, Fighting Fit, all the coaches, the community as well, thank you so much for walking in them doors 10 years ago, because training with you guys, believing in me, putting your trust in me, although I probably wasn't that good. I look back, there's probably why the heck did I put 80 kilos on the bar in one of our first workouts, because I was only learning, I didn't know what I was doing. But thank you so much for showing up, committing to us, believing in us, and and also investing in us, putting your hard-earned money into the business, helping us reinvest, grow the business, employ the team. It's a family business now, and people like yourself, that kind of first 10, 20 people that kind of believed in us are so important to giving us the confidence and the courage and the finances even to take that next step and kind of build what we have today, which is incredible. Like, it's not, people tell us all the time, like, oh, you, like, genuinely, and it can be overwhelming. It's like, oh, you changed my life. It's like, that is such an incredible thing to hear. And like, we hear it, like, not all the time, but like regularly enough, like, you know, so it is amazing for us to get that. So listen, thank you so much, brother. I love you. Give us a hug.
You're a legend.
Thank
I
you.
love you.
Love you too, brother.